As per Forbes and Bloomberg's Billionaire Index, Amazon founder Jeff Bezos is once again the richest person in the world with a current net worth of $205 billion. Despite stepping down as CEO to become the executive chairman of the $1.7 trillion e-commerce giant, his fortune is still eclipsing the wealth amassed by Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates, as well as Tesla and SpaceX CEO Elon Musk. Since Bezos is the wealthiest and most influential industrialist in the world right now, it's safe to say that he has a lifestyle that's beyond your imagination. From real estate to space travel, here's how Jeff Bezos spends his billions. Just 5 years after starting Amazon out of his garage in Seattle, Bezos became a self-made billionaire in 1999 at 35 years old. If that wasn't impressive enough, the entrepreneur and tech genius continued beating expectations. Besides becoming the first centibillionaire on the Forbes Wealth Index, he was crowned the title of the richest man in modern history once his net worth reached $150 billion in 2018. In fact, his fortune is so massive that according to Business Insider's calculations from that same year, spending $88,000 for him was similar to an average American spending $1. Taking these facts into consideration, it doesn't come off as a surprise that Jeff Bezos' massive real estate portfolio is worth over $500 million. Real estate portfolio. Ranging from properties in the famous Beverly Hills to Seattle and cities like Washington, D.C. and New York, the Amazon founder owns a number of lavish properties across the U.S. Let's talk about his properties in New York City first, where Bezos owns 4 luxury apartments at 212 Fifth Avenue in Manhattan, bringing his total real estate holdings in the building to nearly $100 million. His most recent purchase in 212 Fifth Avenue was last April, when the business magnate closed on a $16 million 3-bedroom condominium on the 20th floor. Earlier, Bezos spent nearly $80 million on a 3-story, 5-bedroom, 5.5-bathroom penthouse and the 2-unit floor beneath it. In February 2020, the world-famous billionaire reportedly signed the largest real estate deal in California's history when he spent a staggering $165 million on the Warner Estate, a sprawling compound in California's Beverly Hills, before splurging an additional $10 million on an adjacent house added to the compound. The 13,600 square foot mansion sits on 9 acres. Jeff Bezos also owns the Textile Museum, a pair of mansions in Washington, D.C.'s Kalorama neighborhood, which he purchased for $23 million. At 27,000 square feet, it's the largest home in the city and was recently refurbished with an extra $12 million before the Amazon founder spent a further $5 million in January 2020 on the house across the street to give him additional privacy. When Bezos travels to Seattle, where Amazon is headquartered, he can choose to stay at 2 waterfront properties in Medina, Washington. He reportedly bought the 5.35-acre lot properly situated on Lake Washington in 1998 for $10 million. In 2010, he paid over $50 million for the 24,000 square foot house next door and spent an extra $28 million on renovations. Space exploration. In February this year, Bezos announced he would step down as Amazon CEO after 27 years. Being the CEO of Amazon is a deep responsibility, and it's consuming, he wrote. When you have a responsibility like that, it's hard to put attention on anything else. And what did he mean by anything else, you may ask? Well, the answer is quite clear, and was given by Bezos himself at the time of the announcement. He mentioned how he plans to spend more time on philanthropy and 2 of his major endeavors, the Washington Post, which he bought in 2013 for $250 million, and his rocket company, Blue Origin. In other words, Bezos' decision of stepping down as CEO has allowed him to devote more time to his obvious passion of exploring space. With Blue Origin, which is said to be his most ambitious venture to date, Bezos aims to colonize the entire solar system by supporting large-scale human spaceflight. In 2018, he reportedly told Matthias Döpfner, CEO of Axel Springer, that Blue Origin is the most important work he's doing, and that he plans to spend his multi-billion-dollar fortune on space exploration. In a stiff competition against Elon Musk's SpaceX, Bezos' aerospace company has had success with several test flights of its reusable New Shepard rocket booster, and is now focused on developing the larger, mostly reusable New Glenn rocket system. But more importantly, Bezos completed a voyage to the edge of space aboard a Blue Origin spacecraft on the 20th of July, 2021, marking the company's first successful crewed flight. As planned, Bezos was accompanied by his brother Mark, 82-year-old aviation pioneer Wally Funk, and 18-year-old Dutch student Oliver Daemen, as they reached an altitude of just above 62 miles before landing safely. The exclusive flight reportedly cost Bezos $5.5 billion for just 4 minutes in space. But this amount makes sense when you consider his annual $1 billion investment in Blue Origin. Yacht, private jets, and car collection. Thanks to his enormous net worth that keeps reaching new heights, Jeff Bezos can easily splurge on the most opulent modes of travel, from insanely expensive private jets to one-of-a-kind yachts. For starters, he owns not one, but two Gulfstream G650ERs, which have a combined cost of around $150 million. This luxury private jet is a popular choice of air travel for the world's top billionaires, thanks to its mind-bending modern features. Besides an incredibly high performance of 7,500 nautical miles, the spacious aircraft is well equipped with handcrafted chairs, in-flight entertainment screens, separate cabins to work, relax, and sleep, among many other fancy features. Jeff Bezos also owns some of the most expensive cars on the market, including a $3 million Ferrari Pininfarina Sergio, a $4.5 million Lamborghini Veneno, and not to mention his Bugatti Veyron Mansory, and the diamond-coated Koenigsegg CCXR Trevita. In total, Bezos' fleet of fancy automobiles is reportedly worth over $20 million. Wait till you hear about his next choice of vacation and sailing adventures. It's reported that Bezos is spending over $500 million on a 417-foot super yacht that boasts its own support yacht and helipad. Charity work and philanthropy. Alongside his ex-wife, Mackenzie Scott, Jeff Bezos led the list of top U.S. philanthropists for 2020 before he attained the #1 spot. And rightfully so, since he's made a number of enormous donations in 2020 alone, especially when he pledged $10 billion to fight climate change through the Bezos Earth Fund in February last year. A few months later, amid the global pandemic, he gave away $100 million to the NGO Feeding America, before announcing a massive $791 million donation to a long list of organizations. According to Bezos' announcement, $100 million each went to WWF, World Resource Institute, Environmental Defense Fund, the Nature Conservancy, Natural Resources Defense Council, and the remaining amount going to 11 other well-known charity groups. Earlier in 2018, the Blue Origin founder donated $33 million to a college scholarship fund for immigrants called the Dream.US, as well as $10 million to a veteran-led NGO named With Honor. During the same year, Bezos announced a $2 billion fund to combat homelessness in America and build a network of nonprofit preschools for low-income communities. As the richest person alive, there are countless other ways Jeff Bezos chooses to splurge his billions. And considering how he continues to lead Forbes' billionaire list, Bezos could become the world's first trillionaire by 2026.